Hi everyone, this is your host Johan, and 5 years ago I left the startup life to join Google and move to Singapore. After 5 years, I wanted to reflect back and discuss about that change. So for those that don't know me, my name's Johan. I've been in Singapore for about 10 years, and I'm a staff software engineer at Google Singapore. And I wanted to explain the reasons why, after 10 years working for startups, I decided to leave startups and join Google 5 years ago. So let's get to it. When I graduated in 2006 from a French engineering school. And after graduation, I interviewed for Google and I really failed the interview. I was not ready. My English was not good. I was not able to articulate my thoughts well. I was not able to solve the problems. Basically, I was not prepared, right? I didn't prepare my interview very well and I just wasn't ready. Instead of joining Google and moving to the US, like, everybody's dreams when they graduate, a lot of people's dreams when they graduate. Then I ended up co-founding a bunch of startups. I built and failed two or three startups. I started a game studio. I did some freelance work. I did some consulting for other startups as well. And, some startups succeeded. Some are still running. I ended up selling the IP of other startups. I ended up on the other side of an acquisition. So made some money there, but overall, it was not a very dollar-driven experience. But I made great friendships, amazing learnings, very amazing learnings. When you wear all of those hats in a startup, you need to learn how to price your work. You need to learn how to pitch your company, write and review contracts, handle your marketing, and any kind of non-programming tasks around collaboration, around pitching, around sales, uh, and stuff like co-founders and early employees have to do. I think I would never have the opportunity to learn this inside bigger companies like Google. And so I'm very, very happy I had these 10 years of experience in startups where I got to learn more than just the programming side. And so why did I decide to join Google after 10 years in all of these startups? Well, some will say that I followed the money, and actually that's not true. If I wanted to follow the money, I would have joined the banking or the financial sector many, many years ago. I would have made 5 or 6 times more than my salary was at the time, if not even higher. I know my wife still haunts me for rejecting a $500,000 a year hedge fund job in 2014. So I would have made way more money back then if I embraced the financial side uh, of the software engineering, but I didn't. Instead, I followed the passion, I followed the projects, and I followed the team and the leads. Uh, but eventually, after 10 years, I wanted to learn something new. So let's get to that. I joined Google for three major reasons. One is the mission. Google started this mission in 2016 called Next Billion User, NBU for short. The idea is that we try to adapt Google to these new markets where users have different kinds of devices, users have different access or level of access to the data or internet. And so we want to build dedicated products for these users that work better in these markets. But we also want to bring these learnings back into the bigger Google products and bigger Google solutions and adapt them so that they work better in those markets. So that's the mission that was started in 2016 when I decided to join. Uh, and NBU was being started in Singapore as a NBU headquarters. And if you're within the company, you would know that normally bigger projects like this are rarely started outside of Mountain View, the headquarters in California, if you don't know. And so it was kind of building this new smaller company inside of Google, and being so far from the US, we would have way more autonomy and an initiative. And I really liked this approach, which was closer to a startup experience that I was used to. And so Singapore is actually my second reason why I joined. I love the country. I've lived in Singapore for 6 or 7 years before moving to the US, to the Bay Area in the US. I like the food. I like the stable weather. My wife is from Singapore. We have a very comfortable lifestyle here, and I really love it. The taxes are really low also, so that helps like save even more as we go through our fire journey, which you can see in one of our other videos. And so I love the country. When Google said that they were starting an engineering office here, especially for that mission, I didn't hesitate too much. We had to negotiate, of course, but yeah, this was a very good opportunity that, being able to be one of the very early lead engineers to start a new office in a new country, There are only a few of us in the country at the time, so that was really great. And see this office grow today to more than 3,000 people, that's been part of our accomplishment, and I'm really proud of that. So the third reason why I joined was it was simply the right time. So over the years, 10 years at startups, I've been approached by various companies, big companies, Amazon, Google, Facebook, and etc., and multiple times. But at the time, it was never a right fit. I really liked what I was doing. I really liked the team I was in. I really liked the products, and I didn't want to join Google. I kept rejecting the recruiters contacting me. But in 2016, after 10 years and the final acquisition of the last startup, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to see another side of engineering. So if you're familiar with early stage startups, the idea is to really quickly go from 0 to 1 so that you can have a product in the market. You can test your hypothesis, you can test your business plan, you can test product market fit. So you need to get to market as quickly as possible. So that means you have to learn how to build things as quickly as possible. And you won't have that many users at the beginning, right? So you build this quickly. You don't think too hard about the design or the architecture, because if you can survive the first 2 years, that would be an accomplishment, and then you'll have enough money to hire more people that helps you redesign your architecture or your infrastructure to grow. And so I never really got that experience of going beyond 0 to 1, from 1 to 100 as an example. And I wanted to learn this. And there are not many companies in the world where you can go not only from 1 to 100, but from 1 to 100 million, right? And so at my biggest startup, we had about 10 million monthly active users. And it took us years, like 4 years, to go from 0 to 10 millions. Whereas at Google, when we launch anything with the Google name on it, we will have this right out of the gates, right? The apps will be downloaded tens of millions of times, not 50 million times. And the web services will be used by that many users. And an experiment at Google is like 1 or 2 million users, where we try something new to see if that sticks. And so this was really a different skill that I was having to deal with, not just in terms of building more robust infrastructure that can support that volume of users, but also in the release process, how to release code safely in so many languages, to so many kinds of devices, to so many users all across the world. So it's a new thing that you have to learn that startups are not exposed to, because building a startup globally is very expensive. So people rarely do that. They will focus on one region or one area first and then grow from there. So I really got the opportunity to learn this, and I wanted to. We also have to deal with accessibility, right? We have so many users using our app, and they come in different shapes or forms. So we have to really adapt our products to that. And that's also part of the NBU mission, right? Adapting our products to different kinds of users that are potentially not used to having phones or having used the internet and things like this. So I was really, really keen to learning those. One more thing also, as Google, is anything with Google on it will be attracting bad actors too. They will try to cheat. They will try to break into our systems. They will try to decompower apps to find things that we are launching soon or we haven't launched yet, try to toggle them by using like some kind of a weird access and whatnot that we may not have planned for. So there's a whole aspect to development that needs to account for these bad actors in the way we develop software, in the way we release software, in the way we toggle flags remotely and things like this, in the way where we hide things that we are not ready to launch yet, but we still need to ship inside the product because we need to toggle everybody at the same time. So I wanted to learn those things. Now, on the compensation side, of course, money is there, right? I mean, engineering generally we make good money. In Singapore, the compensation is very fair. Even after having spent 10 years in startups where I wasn't getting paid that much, most of the money was being reinvested back into the business so we can grow it, hire more people, do some more marketing and things like this. Actually, Google, when they made me the offer, they recognized my experience and then the value I would bring to the company. And so they gave me a fair compensation offer, and I really don't have anything to say here. I think it's very fair. I don't want to complain about this. That would be inappropriate because the compensation is very competitive for Singapore, and it would be difficult actually to match for any non-big tech company if they wanted to hire me today, which I'm not available for, but just saying. So yeah, generally the main 3 reasons why the mission, next billion users, I was very attracted to developing products for so many kinds of different kinds of people, especially targeting users that are not used to using Google products. The country, Singapore, I love it. The opportunity to start a new engineering office in Singapore, be part of that early crew that goes in, forms and trains the new engineers that come in, do the interviews, and help people grow in their careers in Singapore. I think that was very important for Singapore and for us at Google. And I wanted to be part of that. And finally, it was the right time for me. After 10 years learning different things, I wanted to learn a different kind of engineering, some engineering that's more around maintainability, robustness, scalability of the software. And I'm getting that. So after 5 years in, I'm very happy where I am now at Google. I've learned a lot. I've learned the things I've been put on that checklist. And yeah, I'm really satisfied. The office has grown to 3,000 people. Engineering wise, we are more than 200 now. And so, yeah, it's been great. Loving it so far. Yeah, I wanted to share with you what were these reasons that brought me from startups to Google. And for a lot of people, they would go the other way around, where they might join Google right when they graduate, like almost what I did when I graduated in 2006, if I didn't fail my interview. And they joined Google, and after a few years, they moved to go to startups. And so there are reasons why you would do that. Either way, you will learn different things in big companies that you would learn in startups. But there are certain things that you can only learn in very big companies like Facebook and Google or Amazon that you will not learn somewhere else. So I really recommend that you consider the reasons why where you are at your career, what you want to do, what you want to learn, and whether you're getting these opportunities in the job you're at. And if you're not, just send me a message. I can see what we have at Google internationally and see if that's something that would match with your profile. I'm not saying come to Google or don't come to Google. I'm saying it depends on where you're at in your career, where you're at in your personal experience, and what you want to do next. And yeah, finally, I've been doing a lot of side projects. Google has been very supportive about this. You learn about that 20% rule. It's actually not exactly true, especially depending on the team you're on. But yeah, I can explore things, and we have hackathons all the time. The culture is great. The Singapore office is amazing, and so very happy here. Not planning to leave, and recommend that if that's the kind of thing you want to learn how to do, you should come and consider these big companies. If you want to be in a more nimble company where you wear many hats and where you be trying different things and pushing things really fast, don't come to Google, don't come to Facebook. You will be very frustrated because our cycles are much longer, 6 months, 9 months before we launch things for very good reasons. We have so many processes to make sure we protect the product, we protect the users, and we protect the brand. And so you might be frustrated if you're expecting to write code in the morning and push it in the afternoon or push it in an hour later. That's not going to happen. All right. I hope this was useful. As usual, if you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos about engineering careers in general, not just Google or Amazon, and my other videos around financial planning and early retirement. All right. Thanks, everyone, and see you in the next one.